So I got my potatoes shredded. Now I'm gonna scoop them into my nifty little strainer. If I don't drop half of them. Okay, and I have it over a bowl so that all the water won't be all over the stove. And then scoop that off. Okay, here we go. And now we just have to rinse these potatoes. And actually, if I can get, if you see this water, it's really, really cloudy, and that's all that starch. So we want to rinse that off. You don't have to do it into another bowl. I just did that for demonstration. And you have to strain it for about a minute until you see that the water's not very cloudy anymore, which it's still cloudy. And just move it around with your little paws. And the water does not look very cloudy anymore. So it doesn't have to be completely clear because that will take an hour. And after a point, the starch doesn't interfere anymore. The starch is what keeps the potatoes from becoming nice and crispy. So we have our potato shreds, and now we're gonna pour them into this bowl. Actually, one second. Maybe we're not gonna pour it into that bowl. We just have to do it slow. We just have to, there's still a little bit of water, so there. Okay. Now into this, I'm just gonna add the remaining maple syrup that's in the measuring glass from the Groats. Just, just a few drops. And what that will do is kind of make a thin layer on each of the potato shreds. And that means the potatoes will kind of crisp up better because the sugar kind of caramelizes around it. You could just use sugar, but I have the maple syrup. I have a little bit more in there, so I'm going to use it. And then we're going to start frying. So right now I have shredded my potatoes. I put a little bit of maple syrup in order for them to get crispy, and I rinsed them off. And then I added some salt, and then I rinsed the salt off so basically the potatoes have a thin layer of sugar and a thin layer of salt water right now on them. So our pan is heating up, and I put a few droplets of water in there, and as soon as they splatter, the potatoes will be ready to go in. And another thing is, when you put the potatoes in, when you bring them up, squeeze them so that you know there's no water in them, because the water will get everywhere and you'll get burnt because the oil was splattered. So I'll come back when the pan is heated. So now the pan is heated up. I put about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in. I'm going to squeeze the water out if there is any, and put it in there. And see, it's kind of splattering a little, these hot little things of oil, but since we squeezed out the water from them, it's not doing it that much. You're going to get hurt in many ways if you keep the water in the potatoes. And I'll add all my potatoes because this is a big skillet. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to flatten them out and cook them for about 5 minutes, and then I'll show you what to do after that. The potatoes have been put in the skillet, and I'm kind of smushing them down. And you should just probably fry them for about 5 minutes max on each side. And basically what I like to do with my potatoes is brown them on one side, and then scramble them a little bit and flip them over, and then brown them on the bottom, and then keep on doing that so those little brown bits get incorporated into the center of the hash brown. And that's what will make these hash browns profound. My potatoes have been cooking for about 5 minutes now, and now is the perfect time to season them. We're going to put some salt And you really want to keep the seasonings on this very, very basic. And I know we already put salt in the beginning, but that was mainly just to get a coating around each potato shred, so that they would come crispy. The sugar and the salt together make potatoes become crispy. So salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm putting taco seasoning because the first ingredient in this is paprika, and our family does not own paprika or cayenne, so this is what I'm going to come to. It's just very little, just to give it a little bit of a flavor booster. You're not really going to taste taco. You just kind of got to get a small whiff of some spice. And that's really it. That's all you should really go to. You can add some cheese to it if you want to, but we're not. This is not ready because the potato shreds still look like potato shreds at the bottom. They're turning slightly golden, but they haven't browned at all. So I'm just going to let this sit for a while. And meanwhile, if you want to check on the groats, it has 2 minutes left. And that's what they look like right now. I think they're going to be done by the time it comes out. I think they're already done. But we set it for 1 hour. We're going to cook it for 1 hour. The hash browns have gotten crispy on the bottom, and I checked. So I'm going to flip them. And you can make a smaller batch of these. At a time. A little bit went off there. Really low. And now we kind of want to push these crispy parts back in. And also we have to mix it a little because those spices need to be mixed around more, so that each of us will get all the spices. And you can keep on flipping and browning as many times as you want. Try not to get them burnt, but I'll probably do them maybe 2 more times with the flipping and browning process. And so I'll smush these back down. And see you when those are done. The groats have come out of the oven. I put them in there for an hour and I took them out and they were a little bit mushy. So I put them in there for another 10 minutes. Now let me take a spoonful and see if I like it. It has a crunchy effect when you first bite into it, and then it becomes easy to chew. And we're gonna serve it up with some almond milk because we're having a vegan breakfast. Now that my groats have cooled, I can scoop them into this bowl, and I've already done the first baking sheet. And you can also kind of move the parchment paper in order for them to come off. They slide off pretty easy. And this is overall a pretty nutritious breakfast. It has no added sugar. The maple syrup replaces the sweetener that you would usually use, which is brown sugar or regular sugar. And the groats are high in fiber and protein, so it's a good way to start off your day. Now I'm ready to eat my breakfast. And these groats are very, very filling, so it may look like we just have potatoes and a few grains, but they are actually gonna fill me up pretty well. I'll take that much and see if I want any more. And this is some almond milk. Go for the unsweetened one, not the vanilla flavored. There you go. When you add the milk, it adds another dimension to the groats. And the almond milk gives a nice kick because it has that nutty flavor in the background. And this actually doesn't go soggy as fast as regular cereal. So you don't have to eat super fast. And that, it's neat that you can find cereal that doesn't come out of a box, and also cereal that's name actually shows what's in it. It's Groats cereal because it has Groats. Unlike other brands which have a name and don't actually have very much of what's in the name.